within architecture, many of the clients have got very, very similar briefs. A lot of people have got the same accommodation, and trying to do something unique within that scope sometimes becomes very difficult. And for me, it is so important for me to have those discussions with the clients. How do you live? How do you entertain? What is important for you on a day-to-day basis? How often do you go away? How do you utilize your home? How often do you entertain and have it all open so that it can flow towards the outside? And so it's very important for us to kind of get the dynamic of the home and within the client that lives within that space correct, so that in itself becomes a design generator for us, so that we can then organize the home according to the client's brief and how the client wants to entertain and how he wants to live and how many kids they've got and what the interaction is and the ages of the kids, etc. So that all guides us in order to give us some way of orientating the spaces within the home for that particular client. On this particular home, what became a huge challenge for us that we wanted to face, and actually in some way the challenge was created by ourselves because we were really trying to do something very unique there. All of the homes within this particular road are all very square, very orientated in one direction, all the garages on the front. So while you're driving down the street, it seems very regular and very common, and we wanted to break that mold with this particular home. So what we did is the shape of the home, we actually did it as almost like fragmented sections within the home. So the pieces are almost like shards of glass that we are placing together to see how we can make that space actually livable and workable and integrated within that. So the shape and the plan of the home have got very few walls that are actually orientated to each other. The walls are all angular, and what actually became the uniting factor for us on this particular home is what we did with the exterior of the home, just to unite the style of this together and actually pull it together. So when you look at the home from the outside, you are unaware of the spaces that we have created within this home. So the challenge that we faced in this particular home, because the rooms are not regular shaped, obviously from a planning point of view, the house must still be functional, it must still flow, you must still have all of the spaces that you need, but identifying each of the shapes and working with each of the shapes with the irregular shape became quite a challenge for us in floor finishes, wall finishes, and how do you actually break up those spaces so that it just doesn't just feel like a jumble of spaces that are just placed up next to each other. So what we did in this home is we used the ceilings and the spaces that are created with LED lighting and lighting strips to actually start organizing the spaces, giving each space an identity of its own and creating that flow that goes from one space to the next without it feeling like it is disjointed. We have also emphasized the shards of glass, if I can call it, that actually have angular sections of roof that actually cantilever and spread up. And those roofs we actually did out of concrete, so that you actually have a pitched roof, but it's shaped out of concrete. It's self-supporting, it can cantilever, and it creates the spaces that we want. And it also gives us the opportunity of doing very high level windows that are not always regular. As we mentioned in the previous video, generally the basement is created for vehicles. So in this particular residence, we've got 7-car basement. You could probably park more cars if you park it more tightly up against each other. But something unique that we did here is we actually did a basement cinema area. So the basement cinema actually links with a separate staircase that actually goes from our lounge or entertainment area. So the lounge and entertainment area has a bar, and there's almost like a hidden staircase that goes down to the bottom to that cellar area, and the wall that is adjoining to that staircase, it's just a linear staircase as a functional stair that we implemented there. We have actually done a wine cellar all along that wall, so that when you're walking down the stair, it's actually a wine cellar going all the way down, which we will cover with glass as you move down to the bottom. And then in that bottom area, we've got a separate toilet, your cinema, which is then housed completely separately from the home, so that if you want to turn up the volume in that space, you can turn it up, you can entertain at the bottom there, and that noise doesn't come through to the rest of the home. This particular home, it's got angled roofs, so we actually did the roof so they almost do like a butterfly effect, so the two roofs are actually facing away from each other and actually discharging the water to a centralized slab area that we've created, so we don't get any rainwater or problems in that particular area. This particular feature is visible from the front entrance, and you get these two butterfly wings that we have created. But also in this particular home, we used angles on those butterfly wings in order to emphasize the cantilever and also the aesthetics within the outside of this home. One of the most common requests that we get from clients, obviously most of the clients that we deal with are clients who want to do entertainment style homes. And for an entertainment style home to work, you need to look at the planning very carefully of that home, so that the family room is not necessarily within your entertainment area, because if there are kids watching television, for argument's sake, they could be within that space. And you can then still have an adult entertainment area where the adults can entertain outside, they can float in and outside, they can utilize the bar, and also that entertainment area that we've created specific to them. So that flow of the patio to your inside entertainment area becomes very important, and blurring that boundary actually becomes the successful space at the end of the day. That how do I utilize this space, and when I open this up, it actually becomes an extension of that space and not just a space off of another space. This home is currently in construction, so I'm really excited to see the end result of this home. It will definitely be a very unique and spectacular home on the estate, and as it goes up, I'm sure we will still get a lot of interest from people looking at the home, wondering exactly what we are doing, as it is a very uniquely designed and styled home. If you don't want to miss out on any unique reveals and design tours, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.